Welcome back. I hope you guys are having a great night. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Jeff, and this is where I share my personal gun collection and, on occasion, my passion for watches. I want to apologize in advance. My fiance and I are currently getting a house built, and we're planning for our wedding. Obviously, we're pretty excited about that. So I haven't been uploading as much. This review is going to be about the Gen 4 NOVESKE Infidel Lite and a fun comparison to one of my custom builds. So that being said, let's get on with the review. And if you like this content, like and subscribe, and I'll see you there. At this point in your gun collection, maybe you've decided, hey look, PG has arrived, the queen. This is my loving cat. If you've seen my previous videos, my cat always shows up in a video. Okay, anyway, back to the video. At this point in your collection or state of shooting, you might be thinking about purchasing a top tier rifle. In this case, this is the NOVESKE Infidel Gen 4 Lite. And if my cat don't get out the way, baby, you got to move. Take two. And she arrives. All right, guys, I swear we're gonna try this one more time. And take three. All right, I think the cat is gone. So at this state of your shooting experience or your gun collection, maybe you're thinking about purchasing a type tier rifle or doing a custom build. It is expensive. You know, the price point for the NOVESKE Infidel, this is a Gen 4 Lite. I think retail is right around $2,800. And like many of us, we justify that. We find a way and say, we need this in our life. We have to have it. I spent, I think, about $2,600. I have no regrets at all, by the way. And this was purchased by J&K Associates. Amazing family-owned business. They are a pawn shop. They sell new and pre-owned firearms along with a slew of other things. So I've had this rifle for about 8 months, and it has just got to the point where I've hit about 3,000 rounds. So I want to give you guys kind of an update, you know, of my experience with this thus far, maybe some updates that I've done to the gun, and just a fun comparison to one of my custom builds. In this case, it is going to be my custom F1 Firearms build, primarily F1 Firearms. And this is a gorgeous gun. This has hit, I think I'm right about 1,000 rounds with this. I have not shot this enough. So this is not going to be an accuracy comparison, more so just a comparison between the two builds, or the build itself and the NOVESKE itself. If you're interested in these two guns for full reviews, I will put a link below. The full unboxing of the NOVESKE and the full build of the F1. Starting things off, we are going to look at some of the smaller updates. I chose the Minimalist Stock and get these roughly for about $40. I'm not going to go too far in depth about the stock. Again, if you want to see the full review, just look at the link below. And then we're going to work our way to the optic. I chose the Trijicon MRO, and this is the first gen. They did release a second gen recently, and surprisingly it's got negative reviews. So I'm not too sure if I'll be testing that one out. As of right now, this is by far my go-to and my favorite red dot. I do love Holosun. I think they're the best value for the money, but overall, this is what I choose. I chose to go with the EOTech 3-power. These things are built like tanks. Very expensive to say the least, but very well worth it. And we're gonna try to see if we can get this. There you go. That's your red dot. I believe it's a 2 MOA. If I'm wrong, I know you guys will correct me. Iron sights, I went with Knight's Armament. This is going to allow me to adjust up to 600 meters. Will I be shooting that far with this? Probably not. Working our way forward, I chose a air socket mount. For the Surefire mini light, or probably any Surefire light, or just about, these mounts are absolutely amazing. They're about $40 on Amazon, and look how close that is to the rail. Which leads me to the iron sight in the front. So if you notice, this is different. This is the steel emboss sights that came with the Noveske, and if you look how close that is to the light. This is why I do not have a Knight's Armament front sight. It will hit the casing on the light. You could change this out, but I have not thus far. And this is where things get a little unique, at least for myself. I don't know if you can really see it, but that is 3M tape underneath the pressure switch. Sticks pretty well. You got some wire ties, and they fit nice and snug on the rail. And there you go as far as the wiring. Now, I completely understand. People are going to say, well, you know, hey, look, you spent this kind of money. Why would you not have a pressure switch mount? I just didn't see the point. I mean, I've always used the two-way tape with some wire ties, and it's always worked with no problems. It's never melted, never had a problem. But then again, I am not on a field. I'm not shooting, you know, rapid bursts consistently where this would probably melt the wire ties. I believe in functionality, you know, what works best at the time. So I'm not always going to use the best premium parts for the rifle. As far as the grip, this is the Magpul K2 grip. This came with the firearm, along with the super badass charging handle. And I love it. And the action on this, it absolutely will not come through on camera. But if you haven't heard it before, it does feel like this thing is on ball bearings. So after shooting this, about 1,000 rounds initially, and right now it's gotten to right about 3,000 rounds, I have absolutely fallen in love with this gun. That is a tall order for a retail of about $2,800. So at the time of purchasing this gun, I was doing another build. And I figured, you know what, I want to compare the two, because what if it's possible that my new build shoots just as well as the Noveske? So, without further ado, this is the last build that I did. And again, if you want the full details of this build, it'll be in a link in the description below. Starting off with the Minimalist Stock is what I chose. And you might be surprised, but this is a Palmetto State lower. I saw no point of going crazy on the lower. I already have a Noveske lower and many other ones. I firmly believe in Palmetto State. I think their lowers are worth every dime. So I don't have any problem spending a lot of money on a build and using this lower. With that being said, this is the K2 grip. And it's the same exact grip that came with the Noveske. And this is when I got introduced to this grip when I purchased a Noveske. So I use this grip on all my guns. As you can see here, this is my Mark 18 build. And it's the same grip. And what do you see here? A Palmetto State lower. That's a kind of a tricky thing, because a lot of people will hate on that. Why spend all that money and use a Palmetto State lower? Well, you know, I gotta tell you, you do what you like. It doesn't matter what other people think. It's what you like in your build. And this also comes down to preference and experience. Moving to the upper, this is a F1 Firearms 3G, and yeah, that is expensive. Along with their DLC bolt carrier, and that is in black. Also very expensive. Turned out very well. This is an Alpha Shooting Sports rail, 16-inch, and if you can see it inside there, that is the F1 Firearms barrel. Gorgeous, gorgeous barrel. Gun shoots absolutely flawless. And then optic of choice, I chose to go with the ACOG from Trijicon. So when comparing these two, there's many variables. It's going to come down to your personal preference and your budget. Do you want to go and purchase a firearm like the Noveske that's complete and has a warranty? Or do you want to spend the money and do your own custom build? This is roughly about $2,600 when I purchased it. I do realize that the retail is about $28, and this is extremely hard to get right now. Sold out pretty much everywhere at the time of this video. So it might be easier if you just spend your money and do your own custom build. If you're able to attain the NOVESKE, it does come with a warranty. You have a point of contact, and you have the faith of all their years and research and engineering and quality assurance in this build. And your custom build, you might not. It all depends on who builds it. Is it yourself? Do you hire somebody else out to do this? Do you have confidence that they're gonna do it right? Many variables. As far as comparing these guns, it can be kind of apples to oranges in a sense that this is a 13.7 pin and welded, and this is a 16-inch. Two different types of platforms, without a doubt. So which one's going to be more accurate? So far, it is a NOVESKE when I'm shooting out to about 100 yards. I have not done a tremendous amount of testing, so I won't go any further as far as that subject. But this is the question. So for me, I have the opportunity where I can financially afford to do both. Do I have any regrets, or would I do it again? I would absolutely do it again. But if I had to choose, that's a hard decision. Obviously, if this is not attainable, then of course I'm gonna do my custom build, or I might go with something else. I do love BCMs. I do love Daniel defenses. I've had many different platforms through my collection, but through my experiences and years of shooting, it's led me to the NOVESKE. And that's something that you'll have to find out for yourself as you become a more mature shooter, and what you like or don't like, or what you can afford. What your objective is for your rifle. Is it for CQB, like this Mark 18? This has a Law Tactical folding stock. This would be a perfect get out of Dodge setup. Or if it's something more for at a max at 500 yards, 16-inch barrel, or in this case, this is pretty much my recce setup. Something where I can shoot out to 500 if I absolutely have to, but more so for 300 yards and extremely reliable. So this is, for me, my favorite AR platform, and I hope this kind of answers the questions, at least from my point of view, comparing these two. This was just a fun comparison for what it's worth. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, especially about the NOVESKE, because it is kind of hard to get, just drop a comment. With that being said, I hope you guys have a great night. If you like this content, like and subscribe, and I will see you at the next review.